not coming up, you gotta go to court. So that well, you can get
Deputy Lee, would you turn the camera so I can see the other inmates? Thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing.
Excuse me, Judge Gardner. Hey, Lee, have everybody stand up over there as well. I think it's...
Yeah, it looks like it froze. I'll give it a second.
I'm gonna run over there. Just stand by for me, Judge Gardner.
Okay.
I said, yeah. So whenever you turn to
So Deputy Cox, in the interest of time, I'll just start going through the script.
That's fine.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is your first appearance hearing before the Magistrate Court of Clayton County. My name is Brad Gardner, and I'm a judge in this court. I'm not here to conduct a trial of your case or to take a plea in your case. I'm here to inform you of the charges that have been filed against you, to advise you of certain rights, to set bail on those offenses that I'm authorized to set bail, to schedule a preliminary hearing, and to determine whether you require the assistance of an attorney. You have the right to remain silent and say nothing. But should you give up this right, anything you say during this proceeding may be used against you if your case goes to trial. So please don't discuss the facts of your case. During this and all other proceedings, you have the following rights: the right to the presumption of innocence, the right to indictment by a grand jury for most felonies or by accusation for misdemeanors, the right to a speedy and public trial by jury, the right to see, hear, and question witnesses who are called to testify against you, the right to compel the attendance of witnesses to testify on your behalf, the right to testify on your own behalf or offer evidence in your own defense, the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be appointed to represent you if you qualify. Some of you will be allowed to post unrestricted bonds for your release from jail. These bonds may be posted by cash, commercial, or property. If you post a cash bond, someone will deliver the full amount of the bond and fees in cash to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office will hold the cash and return it at the end of the case. If you use a commercial bonding company, someone will have to pay a fee to the company for their service. The fee will not be returned. I don't know what fee will be charged, but it is usually based upon a percentage of the bond. Finally, if you use property to post a bond, the property will need to have a net equity at least 3 times the total amount of the bond. Some of you will have special conditions on your bond that prohibit you from contacting certain people or going to certain places. This special condition will be provided to you on a separate form. You will also be prohibited from contacting the victim while you are in jail. If you violate the court's order, your bond will be revoked and you could remain in jail until your trial. You could also receive additional felony charges. It is important to note that if someone is listed as a victim in your case, that person will not be allowed to post your bond. Some of you are charged with offenses for which this court is not authorized by law to set bail. In this event, a bond hearing will be scheduled before a judge of the Superior Court of Clayton County, and you will be informed of that date. If you are currently on active probation, this court is not authorized to set bond at this time. Where the bond is appropriate in your case will be reconsidered after your probation officer has had an opportunity to consider this new arrest. The purpose of a preliminary hearing is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations against you. The standard at this stage is very low. A judge determining whether a charge goes forward at this stage only has to determine that it is possible that the crime occurred. Everyone has the ability to waive their right to a preliminary hearing. However, you should speak to a lawyer first if you are unsure about whether it is appropriate to waive your preliminary hearing. If you post bond, your preliminary hearing is automatically waived. You will receive notice at the address you give of your next court date. Lastly, I need everyone to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm any statements you make during this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, let's start on the lady side.
First, I got Ms. Bailey.
Miss Bailey, ma'am, you're charged with 2 counts of simple battery and 1 count of criminal trespass. I've set your total bond at $9,000, $3,000 for each charge. Do you believe you can post that bond, ma'am? Okay. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Robert Gilmore and Destiny. It looks like Durrah, D-U-R-R-A-H. Do you understand that? Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No,
Okay, you're free to go back.
thank you.
Next is Ms. Bradley.
Ma'am, you are charged with 1 count of criminal trespass. I've set the bond at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I hope so.
Okay. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from a Michael Solomon. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th. The date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
How much do you make per hour at your job?
Yesterday was my 3rd day. I believe she said 13.50 or either 13.75.
Okay. You do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am. You're free to go back.
Thank you.
Next is Ms. Carr.
Where you want me to go?
Ms. Carr, hi, Ms. Carr, you're charged with 1 count of simple assault, 1 count of criminal trespass. Your total bond is going to be set at $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I was gonna ask, can I do like a signature bond?
No. There's going to be a stay away provision on this bond to stay away from Glennis Carr. Do you understand that? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Sure.
So, ma'am, I need a yes or no.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am, let me tell you this. The reason you're not being considered for an OR bond is this is a case, your actions, the allegations against you are things that are totally within your control. And it's your behavior.
Well, I was not there, Your Honor. I was in Hawaii. I was called over, and that's what I was telling the officers. Like, I was not gonna go back. I hadn't been there for a month. I was invited over there. That's why I was like, I'll see with Trevon. I won't go back. I haven't had contact with her. She's contacted me, so.
Okay. Ma'am, you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Next is Ms. Carter.
Ms. Carter, you're charged with 2 driving-related offenses. And the total bond is going to be set at $1,500. Do you believe you can post that bond? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes,
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
yes,
All right, you do. How much do you make per hour, ma'am?
14 of them.
You do qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
You know,
All right, you're free to go back.
Next is Ms. Demons. I got her CA form right here, Your Honor. So after we finish recording, I'll make sure I get it over there to you.
Okay. Ma'am, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery. I've set the bond at $4,000. Do you believe you can post that bond? I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Are you currently working?
yes,
About how much do you make per hour?
11 per hour.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
That's about the bond.
The bond, because I didn't get to hear about the bond stuff.
I'm sorry, say that again.
The bond.
She wants to know about the amount of the bond, Your Honor. She didn't hear about when you said the
Oh,
amount.
Okay, okay, it's $4,000.
OR.
No,
Oh,
it's
you're asking for an OR bond?
Yes,
No. And it's in the same sort of boat as the other person. If you could control yourself based upon the allegations, you wouldn't be here. Because the allegations is you got an argument with your boyfriend and pushed him in the back or hit him or whatever. I need 90% of the calendar with the women are battery, criminal trespass, getting in fights. And with women and men. I need you to understand that's within your control. Everybody gets pissed off. Everybody gets angry. But you need to understand that hitting somebody, punching somebody, throwing their clothes out the window, locking them out, that's not how you deal with stuff as an adult. And that's not the allegation against you. The allegation is that your what, 17-year-old boyfriend or whatever,
He's not 17, he's 18.
Okay, he's 18. Sorry. I'm so sorry. But that's not what you do as an adult.
I know that. I know my consequences. I'm really a nice person. I understand that, sir.
There's going to be a stay away provision to stay away from Brian Rollins. Okay. Do you have anything else, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Okay, Your Honor, next is Ms.
Johnson?
Johnson, yes, sir.
Ma'am, the allegation, step by taking, felony amount, I've set the bond at $50,000. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, I do.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I know, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Thanks.
Next is Ms. Mills.
Ma'am, you're charged with one count of theft by receiving stolen property as a felony. Your bond is going to be set at $15,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
You say 15,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that the cash only bond?
And no, ma'am. It's cash commercial property.
Do I
Meaning
go
a bonding, a commercial is a bonding company.
How does that work?
I'll explain it to you.
Okay, is there anything for like a bond reduction, or what's that OR that everybody?
Well, let the judge finish going through the series of stuff he had to say, then you'll ask you if you want.
Right, then we'll have that conversation. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That it will get waived upon your bonding out. Do you want me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
I do. What about, how long do you reduce bonds or anything?
Let him finish. He ain't finished yet. He gonna ask you if you got any question after he finish.
Okay, so you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Let me ask you this question. The allegation is that you had stolen jewelry on your person that was approximately $20,000 in value, and you're asking me for an OR bond. Why? Put yourself in the position of the person that had their jewelry stolen, and you're asking that person for an OR bond. And explain why the person whose jewelry was stolen should give you an OR bond.
I thought you had charged me with having a stolen property. I wasn't charged with stealing.
Was it yours? I mean, I know if I got $20,000 in jewelry, I may not have stolen it, but I'm just saying. Why? Explain to me why.
At the preliminary hearing, is there any type of bond reduction? Or is it the same bond?
At a preliminary hearing, you can have bond revisited. But ma'am, I just gotta, just as I would say, right size people. The allegations against you are, you're gonna be talking to people who are judges that are the victims of theft. And they work hard and they've had things stolen from them. And so you're gonna need more than just, well, I didn't steal it. I had it, but I didn't steal it, as an argument. And I'm just trying to be real with you.
That makes sense.
Okay. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer, ma'am?
Yeah.
Are you currently working?
No.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any other questions for me?
If I was to get bonded out from Georgia, will I need to reside in Georgia until my court date? Because I do have family here.
No, there's no restrictions on your movements. The only restriction basically is that not to commit another crime while you're on bond.
Okay. So I guess this bond is property value, cash value, any type of value that adds up to 15.
You can, with the bonding company, you're looking at probably $1,500. Bonding companies will put you on payment plans. They'll do all kind of things to work with you. The property, like I said, the property has to have a value of at least 3 times the bond amount. And what would happen is the sheriff will put a lien on the property. And when your case is over, they take the lien off. If you have the amount in cash, you can pay that to the sheriff's department. They'll hold that money. And then when your case is over, they'll give it back to you.
So the best way to go with the bonding company and pay the 10% and give them 10%.
That's generally the least expensive way.
Do I qualify for that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's a list, and the sheriff's department will give you a list. I think it's 5 companies that are authorized, 4 or 5 companies that are authorized to write bonds. And I always advise people, call each one because they're all competitive, and they are all trying to get your business. And so that's the way to put yourself in the best.
Would I be allowed to use my debit credit card and my property in order to pay the bond, or no?
I believe so, but you're gonna have to speak to the people at the sheriff's department as it relates to that, getting it out of your property.
Okay.
And sometimes even like with if you're going through a bonding company, they'll have you sign something basically like promising to pay, like a promissory note, and they'll bond you out, and you get your card out when you're getting out, you get all your property back, and you go pay them.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Next is Ms. McFarland.
Ma'am, you understand what you're charged with, correct?
Yes, sir.
I cannot set bond for this offense at this hearing. I don't know I know the basic circumstances of the allegation, and I don't know what went on, that kind of stuff. I cannot set bond initially for this. It doesn't mean you can't get bond. This is something that the district attorney's office is going to have to take a look at. I've set a preliminary hearing date for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. I've also set a bond hearing date for August 13th. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Based upon, at least from what I read, there may be special circumstances related to your case where this is something that a lawyer may be able to speak to the district attorney's office and get a consent bond before the dates that I listed. So that's something you should consider.
All right. I've never been to jail before, so I'm confused as to what, this court, in the court date, what exactly are we gonna talk about? What happened?
Yes,
Okay, that was,
yes. And this is something that you, from my review of, I review everybody's criminal history, and I don't think you have a criminal history. And so this is something that had it not, there are certain categories of offenses that the legislature said, I cannot set bond at the initial hearing. So that's why you're not getting a bond. It's not that I would not give you a bond, but I can't. But so that's what I'm saying about, speak to the lawyer, and there may be some special circumstances related to your offense where the lawyer can go to the district attorney's office and they will consent to a bond, because they can consent to a bond. And as a judge, I don't care. If both parties agree to it, I'm gonna sign the bond order and that's it. Okay, anything else?
no, sir.
All right, ma'am, you're free to go back.
Next is Ms. Moore.
Ms. Moore, you're charged with simple assault and reckless conduct. I've set a total bond of $6,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Not sure. Now, I heard you explain everything on the OR, but there's nothing that if certain stipulations are in place, like if I can't come up with the bond, there's no way to get an OR because I have a 2-week-old at home. I have a fresh C-section. I'm still breastfeeding and I have nobody to be with my baby. I have nobody.
So,
And I mean, they say not to discuss what happened, but
yeah, no.
I don't know what the
No.
allegations are, but
This is the thing. I look at the allegations and I don't.
the one thing that,
Let him.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
So, the allegation is simple assault and reckless conduct,
Right.
and that you acted in a way that you probably should not acted, in that you were waving a 9mm handgun. That's an allegation. You had a child when you were doing that.
No, I didn't have a child when I was doing that. The child was in the household with the father.
No, I'm saying your child was here on Earth, correct?
Oh, yes.
So, ma'am,
The officer's going based off what I told them, and I admitted to having my gun on me because I have a carry license, and I admitted to having my gun on me. And the other person said I did such and such, and I told the officer, no, I'm going to be honest with you. I did have my gun on me because it's Clayton County. You don't know what can happen. Yes, I did go to their door with it, but I had my carry license, and I said I didn't do what they said, and I was honest that I did have my weapon on me, and I have my carry license after they wanted to see it. They didn't want to see it, and they just went from there.
Can I explore that comment a little bit? You say this is Clayton County and you don't know what could happen?
Yeah, as far as, I just moved out here 2 months ago, and the crime rate out here is pretty high, so
Oh,
I
man,
don't know what the person.
man, you're in jail talking about the crime rate in Clayton County?
Yes, sir. I mean, they arrested me for something that I was honest
Hey, I can
about
move
having
up that
my
way.
weapon. I was honest, and I said I had my weapon on me. I have my carry license if you would like to see it.
Okay, man. You're in Clayton County committing crimes, talking about the crime rate. I mean, that's what you're doing.
No,
That's kind of rich, man.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, so the Orabon, no. Again, there are a million ways that you could handle the situation other than the way that you handled the situation.
Having my weapon on me is a crime.
Allegation is that you were waving the weapon. So it wasn't on you, it was in your hand. The allegation is that it was in your hand being brandished. That's where the reckless conduct charge comes into play.
And a simple assault is because there's another person involved.
That a gun is there and this person placed me in fear that they were going to do something with the gun. That's the simple assault.
Okay.
So there are a whole lot of crimes, and a lot of people, they think of the criminal code as for the other people. It's not for me, it's for the other people. Keep them from out there brandishing their gun and doing other things. But it's not for me, because if I brandish my gun, I'm doing it for the right reason. They never think that there's a police officer that's out there and they decide whether it was right or wrong. Obviously, the officer decided your conduct constituted a crime. So you can count yourself as one of those people in Clayton County out here committing crimes. I know you don't think of yourself that way, but there are going to be people watching this on YouTube, and it's like, man, look at them people out there in Clayton County. Man, Miss Moore, she out there wilding out with her gun. So, man, no. Your preliminary hearing date is set for August 10th. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
You do qualify, ma'am. I'll appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions?
So that court date, preliminary, that changes? So basically, when I get out a bond, that changes?
It's a placeholder date because some people get out, some people don't. These charges, you're charged with misdemeanor offenses, and you should be able to get out. And if you're not, you can get placed on a Tuesday calendar. They call them jail plea calendars. And this is not the end of the world, what you've been charged with. And so you're not gonna serve time on this. They may put you on probation, they may put you on like some kind of like hold, what we call a hold or something, where they just, all right, 6 months, we'll come back and revisit this. And if you're not getting in trouble or whatever, they say, all right, we're just gonna dismiss it. So
That's what the August date is.
August date is the preliminary hearing date, but that's not for this to be dismissed. That is the date to determine whether there was sufficient evidence to arrest you.
The reason I'm asking is because I'm pretty sure around the same time, I have a traffic ticket, and I have my court date on that day as well. So
That's what I'm saying, once I bought it out, does that date go out the window and I get a new date, or?
Yes, it does.
That's what I was
Okay.
asking. What is the bond amount,
$6,000.
what is it based off of? So is it just off rip, normally you place 3,000 for one charge, 3,000 for the other?
For criminal trespass, I start at 3,000,
Reckless conduct I have.
and reckless conduct is simple assault and reckless conduct. I start at 3,000. Reckless conduct, I normally would do 5,000, but based upon what I saw, I didn't think 5,000 was warranted, so
Okay.
I dropped it down to 3,000.
Okay. All right.
Okay, all right, man. Ready to go back.
Next is Miss Ray.
Ma'am, you're charged with theft of services. The bond is set at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
There's going to be a preliminary hearing date set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bond out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir. I would like to ask if you received any paperwork saying that this was canceled out because I paid off that tab back in February. Lieutenant Wright from Lovejoy had helped me with this and said that I no longer had a warrant. So I'm assuming that it didn't get from the solicitor's office to the warrant department in time. And then I talked to the bar owner again, and they were on their way up this morning to re-sign paperwork in case it wasn't done. So is there any way that maybe I could get an OR bond if you haven't received the paperwork?
I have not received the paperwork.
Because this was all paid off back in February. I didn't realize that I didn't have it. I was drugged out of a bar and they told me never to come back. So, but the owner knows me, my number. So why they didn't just call me for the money, it's because of the bartender. So I paid it as soon as I found out, which I found out on February 20th, and I paid it that day. And then Lieutenant Wright called me on, I believe it was March 19th, and told me everything was taken care of.
So this warrant was issued back in January,
Yes, sir.
and it's supposed to be canceled. And there's a whole process that entails withdrawing or canceling the warrant. And a lot of times it does not get entered into.
Yes, sir.
Or because of the age of the warrant, it may have been, I'll use the term delivered, but it may have been out in the sheriff's department. How did you get arrested? Did someone come to your house, or was it like you got a traffic stop, or?
Accidentally fender bendered somebody else's stop sign yesterday on the way home from the dentist, or Monday. On my way home from work, I went to the dentist and I fender bendered, and that's the only reason I knew it was still standing is because he took me to jail. So I had to stay from 5 p.m. till 1 p.m. yesterday in Spalding County with no phone call. And then I've been here in Clayton County since 1 o'clock yesterday. So, and I have a brand new job. I'm in my 90 days. Like, I really need to go home.
What I'll do, ma'am, is I'll reduce this down to $1,000. That's the lowest amount that you can go through a bonding company. And so it'll be approximately $100+ to get out. And I understand what you're saying. I mean, what you're saying rings true to me. So I can't move the ship around as quickly. I can reduce this down so that you can go through a bonding company and get out. And unfortunately, it just looks like this did not get communicated to the right people to get canceled within the system or withdrawn within the system.
Yeah. I just can't have this on my record.
Well, it'll get, if what you're telling me is true, it'll get dismissed and it'll get
Yes.
expunged.
Yes.
So it won't be on your record. But that's the best that I can do at this point, other than having
Appreciate
other than have you sit in jail while we try to figure it out.
No, I need to go back to work.
Yeah, because I've charges that with warrants that were written, I've set nominal bonds on a charge that I would have dismissed, but to go through the whole process of getting the warrant dismissed, the person would have probably sat in jail longer than my just setting a bond so they can get out.
Okay, I understand.
Okay. Any other questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am, you're free to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Your Honor, last is Ms. Williams.
You don't have a Miss Sessoms?
Yeah, I put on the top of her paper medical. I was gonna ask at the end, can you just continue her for tomorrow?
Okay, that's fine. Miss Williams, ma'am, you charged 1 count of simple battery. The bond has been set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond, stay away from Jamar Guy. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, ma'am. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Thank you.
Deputy Cox, 1 second.
Yes, sir.
I don't understand. I got 90% of these ladies were charged with battery, simple assault, criminal trespass. And that just does not seem to register in people's mind anymore about their conduct and just personal responsibility. I don't get it.
Some people just don't want to take accountability on. They think, their actions don't hold any consequences.
Yeah, well, that was, I had a conversation with my wife when I was going through the paperwork this morning, and I was like, I can't believe this.
Maybe they'll think twice next time before getting into any altercations with another person.
Well, I hope so. All right, it was good seeing you. Have a good day.
Yes, sir, used to.
All right, Deputy Lee, we're ready to go.
Yes, Judge. Let me have Mr. Bullion
Okay.
here. And behind you. Hands behind your back.
How are you doing, sir? You're charged with 12 different offenses. Can I just tell you the total bond amount, or do you want me to go down each offense?
Yes.
I'm sorry, it was a poorly worded question. Do you want me to go down each offense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Charged with improper tag or display of a tag, bond is $500 for that. Improper lane change, bond is $500 for that. An equipment charge or improper equipment related to your tires, bond is set at $500 for that. Charged with driving under influence of alcohol to the extent that you're a less safe driver, that's $5,000 bond. You're charged with 2 counts of open container, bond is $500 a piece. You're charged with obstructing an officer, bond is set at $3,000. You're charged with interference with government property, that is a felony offense. Then I set the bond at $2,000. You're charged with driving a vehicle with no license. The bond is set at $1,000. You're charging with failing to obey an officer. Bond is set at $500. And then there are 2 more open container charges. Bond is set at $500 a piece. Do you believe you can post that bond? I'm sorry, sir.
Eu tô autorizado, mas
I'm sorry.
eu tô autorizado, mas não.
Okay. $15,000.
Can you help me to drop it as now, please, George?
I'm sorry, sir.
Can you help me to drop it as now? Because I'm not coming all I can.
No, sir.
Please. You got him and I said, please help me.
Is Mr. Balion?
Yes.
So, these charges or the bonds are not designed to be a punishment. Other than the DUI, the interference with government property, and the obstruction of an officer, the bonds are set at $500.
That's what I said. I said, can you help me? I'm not working.
Okay, hold on. There's an allegation that you were fighting with the officer and ended up breaking the handcuffs because the key broke off in the handcuffs.
No, I did.
I'm sorry.
I said I never did. I was in the car when I was driving. When you came, you saw me and said, oh, are you drinking? I said, I'm drinking. So I'm not driving the car. The car was starting. I was not driving the car.
I was talking about handcuffs. Why are you talking about a car?
No, I know for the officer. No, for the officer, I know for him. In him, me deixou uma renda pelo cão. I was in the car.
I really can't understand you.
I said, I did not score the officer's handle. The handle was on my hand until he put me in the car and brought me. And the drinking video, I was sitting in the car, I was not driving the car. I was sitting right in the car in front of my house. I was not driving.
Hold on one second. Deputy Lee, can you understand him?
Yeah,
Yes, Judge, he's saying that he was not driving the car, he was sitting in the car in front of his house.
Okay. I'm talking about the allegation that when the deputy or the officer placed you or was attempting to place you under arrest, you broke away from the officer
No,
and ended up breaking the handcuffs.
Your Honor, he stated that whenever the officer had put him in the handcuffs, they put him in the car and brought him straight to the jail.
So he's saying the officer is not telling the truth.
Supposedly.
Okay. So no, the bond is gonna stay the way that it's set. You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. You're gonna get a, well, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
yeah,
Yes?
I'm still asking you, so please help me to track this.
Sir, answer the question that the judge is asking you.
Do you want a lawyer, yes or no?
But I need a lawyer.
Okay.
All right, you do qualify. Sir, I understand, and I see your tears. When someone gets charged with these many offenses, normally the officer that's arresting them is upset. And normally the person did something to make the officer upset.
I'm not working. I see you. Please help me. I'm not working.
I've answered that question.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
the answer is I'm not going to change my decision.
You finished, John?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Mr. Cordova?
You said Cardozo?
Cordova, Judge.
Cordova, okay. Oh. Give me 1 second, sir. I don't think I have paperwork for Mr. Cordova. Oh, I do. He's a fugitive. Let's save him to the end. We're gonna save you to the end, Mr. Cordova, because I gotta speak to you about some different things.
Dawson? Officer Cordova, go sit in the back.
How you doing, John?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Dawson. You're charged with noise violation, open container, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, violation of Georgia Controlled Substance Act. Looks like possession with intent to distribute. They charge you with ecstasy trafficking, but it's not trafficking. So had it been trafficking, I would not have been able to set a bond for you. And possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, you're gonna have a total bond set at $22,500. Can you post that bond?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Dawson.
Mr. Fox?
Mr. Fox? Sir, you're charged with 1 count of simple battery and 1 count of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. I've set a total bond of $6,000. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's going to be a stay away provision on the bond to stay away from an Amaya Pilgrim. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, did you say yes?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you're free to go back.
Mr. Gamble?
Mr. Gamble, sir, you're charged with cruelty to children in 3rd degree and battery. I've set a total bond of $8,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
I'm not putting a stay away provision on this bond because it looks like this is a child that you're in the same, a juvenile that you're in the same apartment with. But the allegation, Mr. Gamble, is not the way to deal with things. And I think you understand that. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. The date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, Mr. Gamble. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, sir.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back.
We go straight. Your Honor, I also have this CA form as well. He came after we already done completed the form and sent them. So after we
Okay.
finish, I'll send it form.
Okay. Mr. Gaucher, sir, you're charged with a red light violation, basically running a red light and driving a vehicle on a suspended license. Your total bond is going to be set at $2,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That they will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Gaucher? Okay, free to go back, sir.
Hamilton?
Mr. Hamilton, you're charged with arson and reckless conduct. I can't set bond on the arson charge at this stage. I've set a $5,000 bond on the reckless conduct. I'm setting a preliminary hearing date for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. I'm also setting a a bond hearing for August 13th. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Just Judge.
Okay. You do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, I do have kids under my care and I do have a job. Is there any way I can work this out with it as far as the arson?
No, not at this stage.
So when,
So the allegation The allegation, Mr. Hamilton, just so you know, is that you're on video buying gasoline at a gas station and putting it in a water jug, and that you poured the gas and ignited it at this location. And there were people in the building. That's the allegation.
he was never near the building, he was just on the.
I understand. But you had a job.
Yes, I do.
And your job obviously didn't mean that much to you when you were buying gasoline and putting it in a jug and taking it to allegedly taking it to a building and igniting it.
I really took it to a friend that ran out of gas, and come to find out they left, and I was out of money. So I couldn't.
Okay. Okay.
Is there any way you can work this arson, Your Honor?
So
I don't want to lose my job. That's my thing.
I understand. I do. And I hear what you're saying, and that's why we appoint lawyers and all of this stuff at this stage. But right now, I'm not comfortable setting a bond for the allegations that I have before me without having a hearing where I can question people. I'm just not. So I know, I hear what you're saying, that, you know, you're trying to help somebody. The allegation was that you're trying to burn the building down. So that's what I have before me. Okay. All right. You're free to go back, Mr. Hamilton.
Yeah.
Mr. Harris, Sir, you're charged with 1 count of theft by receiving stolen property, 1 count of possession of firearm by a convicted felon, 1 count of possession of weapon during the commission of a crime, 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. I've set a total bond of $21,500. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir, I have to. Is it,
Okay.
question, you said
Give me 1 second. Let me finish what I have to say, and then I'll entertain whatever question you have. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 9th. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. I'm going to find you qualify. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Now, I cut you off. What was it you're trying to ask me, Mr. Harris?
It's about the 21,000. That's 10% of that, right? Is it?
Yes, sir.
I can make it go ahead. It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, sir. You're free to go back.
Thank you.
The Jones,
You got it there right now.
Mr. Jones, you're charged with theft by receiving stolen property and possession of marijuana less than an ounce. And I believe you may have been co-defendant with the other young lady who was saying she was in possession of the rings, but she didn't steal it. So you may need to be aware that may be her defense going forward. I've also set a bond of $15,000 for the theft by receiving stolen property and $1,500 for the possession of marijuana less than an ounce. So that's $16,500. Do you believe you can post this bond?
I mean, it's not possible to just drop it a little bit. I mean, I'm close to it because I have family and stuff that you have to do. I mean, if not,
The allegation is that you had jewelry in your pocket that was approximately $100,000. So you should be able to post this bond.
all right.
So well, the short answer is no, I'm not gonna reduce this bond. Your preliminary hearing date is gonna be set for August 9th, 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you.
Say 16,500.
16,500, yes, sir. All right, you're free to go back.
Johnson,
Mr. Johnson, you're charged with 1 count of criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. It's being written as a felony. I've set a bond of $3,000. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna have a preliminary hearing date set for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Did you say yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, Mr. Johnson. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you.
Okay, sir, you're free to go back.
Nathan,
Hold on, Mr. Maben. Stay right there. Sir, you're charged with 1 count of running a stop sign and 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. You have a total bond of $2,000. You believe you can post that bond?
Yes, I believe I may be able to post on, Your Honor.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
Yes, please.
All right, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I just have one question, Your Honor. I work for A&B Taxi Services. Excuse me. I work for A&B Taxi Service. I work and live out of my own vehicle. So I really don't have anybody here to like call. I don't have a friend or a relative. So I'm asking for OR, not because I don't have, you know, resources, you know, to get income, but I just don't have, nobody even know I'm here.
Okay, there is the bonding companies like Free at Last and some of these other bonding companies, they'll work with you.
Okay,
They'll work with you to get out. All you gotta do is call.
okay, have a good day, yo.
All right, you're free to go back.
Mr. Moore?
Mr. Moore, you're charged one count of criminal trespass. I've set the bond at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond? There's going to be a stay away provision for, is it Tamia? Okay, Tamia Ayers. Do you understand that? Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
No, Your
Okay, you're free to go back, Mr. Moore.
Riley? Riley, hold on. Hold on, Judge, please.
Okay,
Riley, please. Riley.
okay, you're Mr. Riley, not Mr. Rackley.
Mr. Riley.
Okay, Mr. Riley, you're charged with this looks like possession with intent to distribute controlled substance, possession of weapon during the commission of a crime, possession of a Schedule I controlled substance, possession of drug-related objects, and theft by receiving stolen property. I've set a total bond at $18,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
Yes, sir.
Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer?
You can.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Wait, Mr. Riley, hold on. All right, you do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Yeah, now, if you don't have any questions, you're free to go back.
Appreciate it.
My apology, Judge. Now I'm gonna have Mr. Rackley.
Okay, Mr. Rackley, sir, you're charged with, well, do you know what you're charged with?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I cannot set bond at this stage on this charge. I've set a preliminary hearing date for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. I've also set a bond hearing date for August 13th. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? I'm sorry, did you say yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You do qualify, sir. I'm going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, free to go back.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes. Good morning, Your Honor.
Spencer, good morning. You're charged with criminal trespass. Bond is going to be set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond? I'm sorry.
Is there any way I can get it a little bit lower, Your Honor? I turned myself in.
I understand that. This warrant has been pending since 2018.
I just recently found out about it, and once I found out about it, I made preparations to turn myself in. It maybe only took me 2 weeks.
All right, so this falls in the category of the allegation is that you basically kicked this lady and her kids out of your house. I'll give you the same chance I gave the other young lady. Explain to me why your bond should be reduced.
Well, to be honest with you, Your Honor, the young lady didn't live there, and neither did I. We were visiting my mom's house. She was out of town. I told the young lady I was leaving, and she got upset about the fact that I was going out. And so she decided to leave. I didn't lock her out. She left before I left. And that's the truth.
So the allegation is that you kicked her out of the residence without an eviction notice. And that the allegation is that she refused to rub your feet and made her angry. And made you angry, and that's why you kicked her out.
Definitely not true.
Well, I'm gonna leave it the way it is. It says you took the keys from her and everything.
She didn't have any keys. It's my mom's house. We were not living there. At the time, Your Honor, the girl who I was dating, she had some personal problems. Her mom had just passed. And so she was going through some things.
Okay. I mean, I hear you. I'm not gonna change my mind.
That's fine.
Do you want me to see? I mean, you make a little bit too much to qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. So you're gonna have to hire your own lawyer.
That's fine.
Okay. Any other questions, Mrs. Spencer?
No, sir.
Okay, you're free to go back, sir.
Mr. Walter?
Which one?
You're Michael Walters. All right, sir, you charged with 1 count of driving a vehicle on a suspended license, 1 count of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Total bond is gonna be set at $3,000. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I don't have a job, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm gonna take that as a no. Would you like for me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? All right, you do qualify for the appointment of a lawyer. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 10th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out, and you'll get a new court date in the mail. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Walters? All right, you're free to go back.
Thank you. Mr. Wellborn?
Mr. Wellborn, sir, you're also charged with possession of possession with intent to distribute a controlled substance, possession of a Schedule I drug, possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, driving a vehicle on without a license, obstructing an officer, and use or possession of drug-related objects. Your total bond is going to be set at $19,500. Do you believe you can post that bond?
I'm not there.
Okay. Your preliminary hearing date is going to be set for August 9th at 8:30 in the morning. That date will get waived upon your bonding out. Would you like me to see if you qualify for the appointment of a lawyer? Okay, you do qualify, sir. I am going to appoint a lawyer to represent you. Do you have any questions for me?
You said it was 19,000.
Yes, sir. 5,000 a piece for the drug-related offenses, 5,000 for the possession of a weapon during the commission of a crime, $1,000 for the driving a vehicle without a license, $2,000 for the obstructing of an officer, and $1,500 for the use of possession of drug-related objects. Okay? All right, sir. You're free to go back. All right, Mr. Cordova.
Cordova.
Mr. Cordova, you're charged with being a fugitive from justice. All of the things that we discussed earlier, the rights, they all apply to you. in this instance, but you're not wanted here in Clayton County. You're being held for allegations out of, looks like it says Hamilton, Indiana. And have you been told what the charges are?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I don't need to discuss that. You have the ability to demand a hearing on this warrant. And at that hearing, the judge basically will determine whether you are the person named in the warrant and whether the charges are true charges. Judge will not determine your guilt or innocence, any of that stuff, because we don't care. That's for Indiana to decide. You also have the right to waive that hearing. If you waive that hearing, Indiana has a minimum of 30 days, up to 60 days to come and get you. And they generally will do it a lot faster, but I don't work for them, so I can't tell you when that will happen. If you waive that hearing, that clock starts to run today. And if they don't come and get you within the prescribed time, you will get released out of the front door, but it doesn't make the warrant go away. So 5 minutes later, you run into an officer, they run your information, the warrant pops up, you're going back to jail and everything starts all over again. If you ask for the hearing and at the end of the hearing, the judge determines that you are the person named in the warrant and that these are true charges, then the judge will sign off on your being sent back to Indiana. And that 30-day, 60-day window begins to run at that point. Have you spoken to anyone about this yet?
Yeah, I spoke to my lawyer, and he said the best thing for me is to waive the extradition.
Yes. So they should have the waiver documents there. You sign the waiver and then you'll be free to go. Oh, well, they'll send it to me. I'll sign it and you'll be free to go back to your housing unit. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, he calling me a fugitive, but I didn't know I had that warrant. I was outside the country on my family vacation. And it was issued 7 days ago. I left 10 days ago. I was coming back. I was flying directly to Indianapolis. You know,
Right.
I was able to, if I knew, I would turn myself in. I was being cooperative with the detective and the investigation and all that stuff. So I don't know why they put that stop sign.
Well, your lawyer, the best thing, you did the first right thing is to hire a lawyer. Your lawyer, the lawyer is in Indiana.
In Indiana.
The lawyer may be able to work something out with them there. My career has been, before I was a judge, has been a defense lawyer. And I've been on both sides where we've had clients in other jurisdictions and we've been hired to represent people who are here. And they, depending on the charges, depending on the allegations, Indiana may agree to a bond for you. And if they do, they'll call Clayton County and say, let him go. And they'll let you go.
Okay, so if I make bond in Indiana, I'm free to go here?
Yeah. Because they're going to have to expend money to come and get you.
Okay.
And if they look at the whole situation and say, well, I mean, we believe this guy is going to come back.
Okay.
Now you got to pay for yourself to go back.
And then I'll be able to fly, like I won't get arrested at the airport again?
Well, I mean, and before I try to get on a plane, I would make sure I have the paperwork in my hand showing that I've been granted bond on these charges. And because, you know, human beings are not perfect and things don't always work the way that they're supposed to work. So just if that route is available to you, I would take all precautions.
I understand. Thank you, sir.
All right. So when you sign that, you'll be free to go back. Deputy Cox.
Sir, he's in here. He's here.
Oh, he's there. Or you can stay there too, Deputy Lee.
I look a little more better than Lee. That's my big brother, Judge.
I know it's all that height. He got that confidence from being tall.
Yeah, right.
The person that said he doesn't have a job, and he has money to buy weed.
Hey, it's beyond me, Yana. I don't understand that logic either. I don't know how you can support a habit, but you can't support yourself. I don't get it.
And the guy early on who had a bunch of charges,
Right. Yeah.
the police officer was at a red light. The guy pulls up to him, bumping his music and smelling marijuana coming out of the car. That's why he got pulled over. Then he has ecstasy, he has marijuana, he has all of this stuff in the car. All because he's bumping his music. I know I'm getting old. I'm getting old because I'm sitting there looking at these situations and I'm like, I just can't get it.
It's like that a lot of times. I remember when I worked on the street, when I was on the road, and you can just have a humbug moving offense, no tail light, no tag light, and end up finding no license, suspended license, warning person, and some more stuff off just some humbug. People don't understand, like, it could be the littlest things that you do that can
Right. I was leaving the courthouse one night. It was midnight. It was a little bit after midnight. And I pull up to the first traffic light over there where the QT is when you're heading north on Tar Boulevard. This guy pull up, music bumping. It's a summertime, so it's hot, but I got the windows down. I don't have the AC on. I could smell marijuana coming out of that car. And I'm like, he's the first person to be like, they pulled me over for no reason. And I'm like, dude, you got music playing. I can smell the marijuana from one lane over.
Right.
And
I understand, because I know sometimes when I follow behind the vehicle, you can smell it coming through your vents. If you say, I look around like, oh, where's it coming from?
Yeah, and I was telling my wife, I was like, maybe, the concept of being nose blind. And I was like, maybe it's like they smoke so much marijuana, they don't smell it anymore.
Yeah, and that's probably the case. They smoke so much, they just don't smell it no more.
Yeah, but I apologize to the both of you for today taking so long. I don't know why all these people asking for OR bonds.
And the crazy thing is, I explained how the whole thing is going to go to them before they get up here, and they still get up here and ask all these questions I already answered before I got up here. But you ain't got to apologize to us, y'all. We on your time. So.
Yeah, I think it's people, like I try to treat everybody with respect, because we all should treat each other with respect. And I think you get some people that they take being treated with respect as weakness. And I mean,
and that's why I tell a lot of people in my opening speech when I get a lot of people in here, I'm like, you're going in front of a judge that's fair. He's one of the fairest judges I know that I've done been around in the courtroom. So, what he grants you and the bonds that he set are really fair compared to if you go on a Tuesday or a weekend.
And they don't get it. And they don't get it. And it's because when things go back to normal and I don't know what's going to happen as it relates to first appearance, but when we're on that schedule where you're going to have a bond hearing in a week, And so I don't mind setting higher bonds or that kind of stuff because things are gonna move faster. Things are moving slower. And I know it's not fair to anybody for people to be sitting around. So I try to set bonds that I think are fair. And they're really like bargain basement bonds that I set. But when people are like, you didn't slap somebody around or whatever at home, and then you come in talking about, I got a baby, I got a job, I got all of this stuff, and I mean, that's why I don't do half of the stuff that come in my mind because I got a family, I got stuff to lose.
I don't walk away from plenty incidents where I know it could have went totally left. You know, I got too much to lose. We done talked about this before. I got too much to lose to where I'm not even gonna entertain what you talking about. I'm just gonna go, get away, and then come back and we can just reconvene at another